All right, everybody, I am back with a brand new video. And today's video is going to be kind of a fun one. And as you could tell by the thumbnail of the video, this is going to be my discussion on why I have switched over, why I'm actually in the process of switching over from being a console gamer to a PC gamer, which I swore was something that was never, ever going to happen. If you knew my whole backstory, you would know that I would never, ever consider moving over to PC gaming. I didn't like the idea of using a keyboard growing up, and I have a long-standing history. I own just about every console system that has ever been released. And in fact, here's something I've had since I was a kid. This is the original Game Boy, and I even have the original, flyers and everything that came I don't want to drop this here, but I have the original fold-outs and all the stuff that came with my original Game Boy years and years and years ago. But I started out with the Sega Master System. My best friend, he had the Nintendo, and I would go over there and we would play the Sega Master System at my house. And so that's how long I've been gaming since then, and I own just about every system that has come out since then. And I'll actually show you guys a picture of that here in the video. But I love console gaming. I always have, and I'm sure I'm still going to be interested, but I don't know if I'm actually going to buy into the next Nintendo system. I don't know if I'm going to buy anything beyond the PlayStation 5, and I've never been an Xbox fan, even though I do own the Xbox 360 that has been modded, and then the Xbox One, I think it was called. I do have those, but don't ever play them. And what's crazy is the reason I'm switching over from console to PC gaming is because of two different things here. Number one is the Steam Deck. This came out about a year and a half ago, and this here is a big driving factor as to why I am moving over to PC gaming. And something else I have to show you, which is also a big factor in this, are these three games right here. We've got MotorStorm, MotorStorm Pacific Rift, and MotorStorm Apocalypse. These here are my three favorite console arcade games that have ever been released, and these came out on the PS3. And these games are pretty phenomenal. I'll leave some of the gameplay footage here in the video as I'm talking about this, but these games are beloved to me. If I ever needed to sit down and blow off steam, these here are the funnest arcade racers that I think have ever been released in arcades or for home consoles or anything like that. And I have a love for these games. And we're going to talk about how these are related and how this relates to the Steam Deck. But before I do that, I want to talk about the sponsor of today's video, which is Aura. Aura is not just the sponsor of today's video. It's a service that I actually believe in and I use. For those who are new to my channel, I ran into a situation a couple of months ago where somebody took personal photos that they found of mine and posted them all over the internet. And they made death threats against myself and my family, and the FBI had to get involved, and it was a very ugly situation. And through that situation, I found out that there are data brokers out there that sell your information to scammers, spammers, and anyone else who may want to target you. All of your information is out there. Your name, previous addresses, your current address, health records, relatives, legal records, everything is out there. And that's why I've been using Aura, the sponsor of today's video. Aura actually shows me which data brokers are selling my information and automatically submits opt-out requests for me so I don't have to do it. Cleaning up my information not only helps me reduce the amount of spam I get, but it protects me from hackers who may want to use that information to get access to my social media accounts, bank accounts, and other sensitive information. Aura also does a lot more to protect me and my family from threats I can't even see. They have a whole suite of features like antivirus, VPN, password management, parental controls, identity theft insurance, and more without having to download or use several different apps. It's super easy to set up, and I get everything at one affordable price. Now, you may already have one or two of these tools already, But not having Aura is like locking the front door and leaving the back door wide open. Aura is always on, doing all the hard work for me so I can stay safe and focus on other things that I'm more interested in. I value my privacy, and I also value yours. So if you go to aura.com/myreview today, you can start your own 2-week free trial. It's also going to be linked in today's description. When you go there, you can sign up. It's going to ask you which service you heard this on. You want to use YouTube and what channel. You want to hit My Review. You can go get a free 2-week trial. And with that 2-week trial, you can see how much of your information is being sold out there and is out there for people to be able to target you. They're not just coming after me because I have a channel, but anybody who is using online services is at risk, and you want to make sure that you are protected. So take advantage of that two-week free trial today. All right, guys, so let's get into the rest of this video. Like I said, I swore I would never be a PC gamer. But when I ended up getting the Steam Deck, what I mainly got this for was this actually replaced all of those game systems that you saw in that picture that I posted. You could do emulation on here, and it emulates everything from the beginning of video games all the way up through a lot of PS3 titles. But the issue is, I got to MotorStorm Pacific Rift, which is the second game in the series, and I had massive slowdown on the Steam Deck, which was really frustrating. And what I'm looking for is, what irritates me as a console gamer is when you go from generation to generation, you don't know if the previous generation is going to be supported or they're going to put it behind some crazy massive paywall, even though we already own those things. And I got tired of it. And now that you can emulate most of this stuff on these current game systems, to me, that's game over. I think these companies like Sony and Microsoft have left money on the table by not giving people access to those big, massive back catalogs. And the company that actually made these 3 games is now disbanded and out of service, which means we are never going to see another release of these ever again. And there were a couple of other games too, like MotorStorm Arctic Rift, or Arctic, I forget the name of it. And then we also had MotorStorm RC, which are all amazing games, and that one was on the Vita. The first one, Arctic, I can't remember, for some reason I'm forgetting the name of it, and I played through it like 3 different times. It was available on the PSP. But I could play all of those games up-resed on the Steam Deck. And I love the Steam Deck because it can be hooked into a TV, and I can play it with a PlayStation 5 controller. And so it's like I've got a souped-up retro machine right there on my TV. But the Steam Deck is not powerful enough. And the only other PC I have in my house is way old. I use this as a Plex media server for the rest of the house. I originally built it like 10 years ago to replace my Mac for when I was doing voiceover recordings for my business. And so it's time for me to build a brand new system. And the new system I'm going to be purchasing is going to be super high end. And I'm going to do a separate video on that build. I'm going to give you the parts that I'm buying and what it's going to be able to do. And then I'm going to give you a link that you guys can go buy those same components if you were looking to buy a gaming PC. But what I'm doing this for is because I want something that's going to immortalize these games and that I can play on my TV. What I really like about the Steam Deck, though, is with that, and the reason I'm doing it, is I'm still going to be able to use my Steam Deck, the current version, with that PC. And this is what's cool about this, is I do have Steam on my other PC in the house. But before I got into the Steam Deck, I had maybe only purchased maybe 10 games on Steam ever. Because like I said, I'm not a PC gamer. Now I own over 120 different games because a lot of times you can pick up these games at a very, very, very low cost. I picked up, I think, the whole entire Prince of Persia. There were like 4 or 5 games in the series. The whole cost of the bundle was only $4.99 the other day. And I love getting bundles like that to where those games can be played on a PC. And one of the games I'm currently playing that I absolutely love is Trials Rising. And it was available on the PS4. And it's functional on the PS5, but beyond that, I don't know if it's ever going to be supported. Well, I've also purchased it on Steam, and I can now play it on the PC, and It's not, it's Ubisoft games don't play on here natively because of the Ubisoft Connect. But what I'm able to do is stream. You can actually do screen sharing from my PC onto this. It's called Remote Play. And Remote Play is amazing. And so what I want is I want to be able to have my games portable, but have my PC do all of the hard work for me. And you can actually integrate all of those different emulators into Steam to natively play on the Steam interface, which means I will be able to play all of those through Remote Play on the Steam Deck. So I don't have to wait for another generation to get powerful enough to do PS3 stuff. I can do it now. So what I'm doing is I'm building a PC that is going to run all of the current games, a lot of them at 4K 60 frames per second, but most of them at 1440p, and definitely really high frames per second FPS with 1080p for sure. In fact, I think I'm going to be picking up the video card I'm going to be using is going to be, and I've never used an AMD card, but I think I'm going to be switching over to AMD for the video card because with the cost of cards today, and I tried to find a really good middle ground that'll do everything and play current games, and the best one I found is the 7900 GRE, and that's going to go really well with the chipset that I'm going to be doing. I'm going to be doing a Ryzen 7 chip. I think it's something like the 5900 X 3D chip, something like that. But I've got my whole PC planned out. I'm going to be building it here in the next couple of months. And then when I get it up, I'll do a review on everything and show you the components that I'm using and what my experience is moving over. But my goal is to basically use my PC as a game system that's hooked into my TV that I can use with the PlayStation 5 controller. So I'll be able to play it on my TV as well as use it portable through the Steam Deck. So this Steam Deck has changed my whole way of thinking on how games can be played and where they can be played and what is needed. And I'm hoping that this PC I'm going to be building is going to probably function for the next 10 years with no issues. Because I'm not really into most of the current games that come out. In fact, I think games really stopped becoming super quality with the PS4. I think that's when things started to go downhill. And with the PS5, I only own a couple of PS5 games. And a lot of those games, Sony and Microsoft are making their games available through Steam. And so I wish Nintendo would do the same thing. I'm really thinking that these game systems are not as relevant as they used to be, the consoles. And I will tell you this, though. The one caveat to building the PC that I'm building is it is going to cost me about $1,500, which is the most I've ever spent on a computer. And years ago, I would have never contemplated that. But for me to immortalize and be able to play all the games that I've owned from every previous generation all in one place, it's worth it to be able to do that and be done with it. And the one thing I will tell you is you will not get a better value than going out and buying something like the PS5 that is ready to go. When you get the PS5, you know, that system is about $500 and it's ready to go. You get a controller and you don't have to do any configurations. You just plug it in, you get your games, and you're able to play. You are not going to be able to build a PC for that kind of money that'll run PS5 level games. That technology just does not exist currently. And Sony and Microsoft do have those systems, and Nintendo have those plug-and-play systems, which is attractive to a lot of people. But I'm now to that stage where I want to be able to play the games that I want to play from previous generations all in one place, and the only way I'm going to be able to do that is by using a PC. So those are my reasons for moving over from a console gamer over to a PC gamer. And I'm looking forward to doing this build. If you guys are interested in a video of the actual build, once I get all the components, let me know, and I will actually video everything, putting it together and showing you, getting it up and running and all of that. I'm looking forward to that whole process when it comes to fruition. It'll be here in the next 45 days or so. I'm very much looking forward to it. So if you guys are interested in watching an actual build video where I go in and I actually build all the components, let me know, and I will actually show that. I do appreciate all the support. What did you think of today's video? We will see you on the next one.